As the championship tour shifts hemispheres and continents, stop number 7 lands in Surf City, El Salvador. Punta Roca, the Central American right-hander, provides a canvas for high-performance surfing. Carissa Moore, now back in yellow, leads the rankings while formidable opponents Joanne Defay and Tatiana Weston-Webb have made huge leaps into the final 5 after Indonesia. As Felipe Toledo leads the men's ratings, hot on his trail is Jack Robinson, after rapidly closing the gap with back-to-back event wins, a feat not seen since Italo Ferreira's world title run in 2019. Point break specialists are sharpening their blades, ready for El Salvador's first CT event. The fight for the WSL Final 5 heats up at the Surf City El Salvador Pro presented by Corona.
I've been having this vision. Either rise or you fall. I'm on a mission, bringing my dreams to fruition. I ain't playing at all. Bring out the body bags, I'm about to kill them, deliver them to the mortician. I gotta do what I gotta do. That's for my face, back in my face. I gotta do what I gotta do. I pray to God, he never came. I'ma do me, I'ma do me. That's in my blood, I never change. That's in my blood, I never change. That's in my blood, I never change.
Buenos dias and bienvenidos a El Salvador. Welcome everybody around the world. You are watching the Surf City El Salvador Pro presented by Corona and watching this little right just drain down the cobblestones. A wave called Punta Roca. Great to be here for stop number 7 of the World Surf League Championship Tour, and thanks for watching Dawn Patrol. Joe Trappell alongside one of my favorite surfers. I mean that, Rosie. Rosie Hodge, welcome back. So good to see you.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It's so great to be here. El Salvador, one of my favorite stops. It's great to have a championship tour event at this location.
So great. Mitchell Salazar, always good to see you, my friend. And you, a former competitor at this venue at the QS level. How good is it to be back?
Well, it's great to be back, especially at the CT level. First time we've been here doing this. Great to see the wildcards in action, too. I'm expecting to see great things out of the local boy, but I am Perez, too.
Let's see if we are going to be on for opening day of competition as we say buenos dias to Kaipo Guerrero with Jesse Miley-Dyer.
Buenos dias, Joe. Jesse, El Salvador, a new stop for the championship tour. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I've never been here, so I'm stoked to be here with the tour, and everyone's been, ripping and getting a few waves here at Punta Roca, so it's nice to be here and to, be here for the first time.
No shortage of waves here and great culture. But let's get to the call today. What is it?
Yeah, so we're not going to be on today. We're looking at small conditions right now, and there's definitely promise of swell in the waiting period. I think that we're going to get waves for sure, so we're going to be off for today. Come back tomorrow.
Well, there you go, guys. But it is a wave-rich region, so I guarantee you there's got a lot of fun waves for everyone to surf on this day off.
Thank you, Kaipo. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, even at this size, that looks fun. Rippable. Looks like it's a day for everybody just to test out their equipment. It's been a quick turnaround from G-Land now to going right here to El Salvador. And just like Jesse was saying, here for the first time, that's a very common theme you're hearing from the professionals as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been so fun just to see the warm-up surfs, to see people familiarize themselves with this break, because it is a new stop, so it's a fresh look at somewhere.
So true. As we look at the Surfline forecast, thanks you, Jonathan Warren, for giving us the updates for this waiting period. He kind of let us know that, today would be small, but we're looking for some swell to fill in.
Yeah, definitely. And it's favorable direction. That south-southwest swell really sucks in all the energy to the point. But looking at the forecast, Joe, it seems to be changing all the time. Nothing's for certain at the moment, but there is that swell on offer.
The local storm activity is keeping us kind of questioning what the wind might look like, Mitch.
Yeah, and even today you can see right there, it's great in the morning, but then after that the swell decreases. Onshore just tims up a little bit more in the afternoon, but there's one day out of the next few that I really like. That's Thursday. 6 to 8 feet, 14 seconds, and the winds changed a lot lighter than they were before.
And also looking at the third being maybe the biggest day of this waiting period. So I feel like it's one of those classic stories of wake up and check it and see what's in front of us at Punta Roca.
And something I really like, this new format, less surface, we can really maximize the swell window. So we have that in our pockets, and it looks like there's going to be waves on the way.
Well, I want to get more insight, Mitchell, of where we are in this world from you, because as we know, all of our competitors have flown halfway across the planet to get here from Indonesia all the way to Central America for the first time at the CT level here in El Salvador.
Yeah, what an event. I mean, it's definitely going to be one of those things that you're just going to remember for the rest of your lives. Competing here for the first time, it's an awesome experience. In beautiful El Salvador, La Libertad is the city where we're at right now, but Punta Roca is the real place that's going to shine this week. And as you can see, just veering that wind from the north-northeast, that's a straight offshore wind. It's what we're looking to have on those bigger days. It could barrel all the way up top at the point. South-southwest swell is kind of the best one for this spot right here, but you look at the lineup and you see the top of the point. Over there is where you're catching the waves at. Literally at the top, that's where Brian Perez, you see all his clips, the Pink Panther, he's got some of the best waves I've ever seen here. And that's coming from other guys like Jimmy Rotherham saying, like, this kid takes off as deep as they can. But Mama Roca, that's a huge rock out here. I would have to say around 12 square feet. It's one that pops out when the tide's low to mid. So you got to watch out for that thing too, but that's the primary takeoff zone right there.
Really fun to see the comparisons of maybe other right-hand point breaks in the world. I know J-Bay is really close to your heart, which is coming down later on this season. Some people saying the warm water J-Bay. Is that fair, Ro?
Yeah, it does feel fair, Joey. There's actually a fair amount of power out here too, which is super fun. There's the different sections that you can really lean on for, you know, when you experience, like you said, it barrels out the back. There's another inside section that kind of barrels, and it's a high-performance wave.
Really looking forward to seeing the whole package from barrels to airs to big combinations when we do get this one underway. Coming up next on Dawn Patrol, we found some lost tapes from Kelly Slater himself. We'll also dive into who's in and who's out. The opening ceremony yesterday morning was a great celebration of dance and celebrating the culture and history of El Salvador. Yek Tunao was the original way to say good morning in these lands before Spanish became the official language. And a beautiful way to pay respects to the local environment as well, as many of the world's best were on hand for that opening ceremony, and Mitchell Salazar was on the podium as well to feel that great opening energy. Mitch, what a great way to kick off the event.
Oh, it was awesome, man. Honoring, the cultures that have been around since Mesoamerican times. It's really beautiful to see that kind of preservation of not only the society that was before, but also the environmental stuff that were around in that same era too.
Well, obviously we're now at stop number 7. We passed that dramatic midseason cut. We saw this condensed heat format displayed at G-Land, and we're sticking with it for the rest of the year. Opening round for the men, we have 8 heats of 3 surfers apiece. Things changing from the first half of the tour, where now it's all focused on first place. If you win your heat, you skip into the round of 16. Second and third are then reseeded into the elimination round of competition. Remember, if you're losing in the elimination round, it really hinders your chances of making the WSL Final 5 later on this September, because you leave with an equal 17th place, basically no points, and you're out of the contest. First place is reseeded again in the round of 16. That's the last round, which we see the reseed. Then it follows the draw from the quarters all the way to the final, where we crown our champion. On the women's side, it's much quicker as well. 4 heats in the opening round. First place skips to the quarterfinals, a format that, Rosie, you felt at previous times in your career.
Yeah, this format really moves, Joe. I mean, first place straight into the quarterfinals. When you're thinking about the Final 5 picture, that's a great way to gain momentum, to look at your spot for that Rip Curl WSL Finals.
Elimination round once again. Second place eliminated with an equal 9th. That sounds okay, a 9th, top 10. However, the women's tour is so small, you're probably not going to make that WSL Final 5. The quarterfinals are reseeded on the women's side, and then it follows the draw into the semifinals and the final. And things will be moving incredibly quickly. If we do overlapping format, Mitch, these days we can finish an event in 3 days.
Yeah, and the best thing about that format, though, is that we're seeing the best waves on offer here, and I don't mind it at all. And I think the best thing about the format now, going into the last 5 events in comparison to the first 5, it's forcing you to do your best surfing, too, because you're looking to qualify for that WSL Final 5. No pressure. Now it's all about making that little cut right at the end.
So true. Well, let's take a look at who's in and who's out for this event. A lot of last-minute changes, but some big names now stepping up. We'll be seeing Tia Blanco using one of her Ultimate Surfer wildcards in this event. And I think all the locals were thrilled when Brian Pettis won the local trials yesterday.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this guy. I think Brian's going to surprise a lot of the competitors. His dad runs the local refreshment stand right here at Punta Roca, so this kid grew up on these cobblestones.
Danger factor, he's got Toledo. Also, Sally, again, will keep her perfect attendance record intact. Unfortunately, though, we're waiting for Tyler Wright to feel better to return to competition. Also, Carlos Munoz, dislocated shoulder at Pipeline. It's been a long wait for the Costa Rican to suit up again.
Huge chance for him to compete here in Central America, close to home to Costa Rica. He's competed here before. He's actually won an event just right up the road at La Bocana, too, so he has a lot of competitive experience here in El Salvador.
You're going to hear him say Pura Vida quite often. He's got really good vibes around him. Thing is, he's only been surfing for a couple of weeks after that severe shoulder injury, so he's going to try to feel it when that horn goes off. I think the big news that we saw there, though, the GOAT, last-minute change of plans with an injury that he just announced, is going to be missing El Salvador, the man who kicked off the season, world #1, out for this contest.
Yeah, it was interesting to see him pull out of the mix, Joey, because I really feel like he's got such an opportunity making that Final 5 to look at a 12th world title.
Also opening up opportunity for a man named Josh Burke from Barbados.
Huge opportunity, and it's the first time I actually think that we're going to see a Bayesian surfer in seated competition, so maybe it's not happening at home, but he's got a right-hand point break to prove himself.
Pretty exciting for the men. Josh Burke, Chelsea Tuok for the women a few years back. That's going to be exciting for all surfers from Barbados heading into this amazing right-hand point break. For Kelly Slater, though, he's going to be missing from action, but for everyone on WorldSurfLeague.com, we've got a special debut. Kelly Slater's Lost Tapes presented by Outerknown.
Still feeling like I'm a whole person without needing to win is a really important human experience. Especially because you've had an unusual amount of winning.
Imagine if your life was a movie, what would you do? After all this time, I almost want people to experience this story that I've had. To properly meditate, I should probably be like, oh.
Today, it officially premieres, the Lost Tapes presented by Outerknown. You can check it out on worldsurfleague.com, and we'll have a release every Sunday for 11 weeks. And even though we think we know everything about Kelly, this is a special, never seen before follow through the 2019 tour.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a number of years. Remember that camera crew following him around, so it's fun to see that footage come to life.
Yeah, finally turning it into an 11-part docuseries. Kelly obviously gives us a lot of joy, a lot of entertainment. But a rare opportunity to get to spend time with the guy they call the GOAT.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff in Kelly's life. You only see what's in front of the camera, so it's going to be really refreshing to see what's going on behind.
Exciting times in the women's draw. You're going to see a very familiar face. A goofy foot named Caroline Marks returns to the championship tour. We'll be right back. Buenos dias, good morning once again. You're watching the Dawn Patrol show for the Surf City El Salvador Pro presented by Corona. Contest is going to be a late 8 today, but check in with us tomorrow to see if we'll get the competition underway as we dive into the major stories of what's going to be happening in that opening day on the heat draw. One name that's really standing out is a goofy footer named Caroline Marks. unbelievable to just see what she's done in a short period of time. But the big news is making a comeback after sitting on the sidelines this season.
Yeah, it's so great to see Caroline back competing. I mean, the last event we saw her in was Sunset Beach in Hawaii, which was a few months ago. Excited to see her surf, but also excited just to see her in person.
It was big news when she let us know she'd be taking a break, but fresh off a boat trip in the Mentawais, she's feeling more than ready. As we look at her amazing stats she's had in a short period of time. Youngest ever qualified 15, 3 CT event wins, represented the USA in the Olympic Games as well. But we remember she's kind of known to have maybe the best backhand on tour as we reflect on her form from Jeffreys Bay, where she made the semifinals.
Yeah, right you are, Joe, and they call this wave the Jeffreys Bay of America Latina for a reason. I think she's going to have a great amount of success here, and with the reduced field too, I don't think seeding is really a matter for her. It's all about just getting reps in and surfing those heats like if they were all finals. The one beautiful thing about here for Caroline is that it not only replicates a wave like Jeffreys Bay, it also gives her an aspect where she's really known to perform well. Repetition on the backhand, it's not something that we really see on the CT for her.
Great to see her in this kind of form from 2019. I feel like she's improved a lot, really focusing on her surfing. Sometimes it's harder to do that when you're trying to battle for events and changing venues, and her backhand's looking on fire of what we noticed in the free surf the last couple of days. But Rosie, she's number 11 seed now as she joins Isabella Nichols and Brisa Hennessy in Heat 3.
It's going to be great to see her coming up against Brisa, Isabella. I mean, both those women have taken out event wins. They match fit at the moment, so Caroline has her hands full.
As we see the heat draw looking incredible, a couple of goofy footers in the mix. Tia Blanco, also Tatiana Weston-Webb will give us that really cool backhand read at Punta Roca. And maybe the biggest change where timing's so important at J-Bay. Sometimes it's a learning curve to really get your feet wet on how to rip that place. I feel it's a lot easier and a lot quicker here at Punta Roca.
Yeah, one thing I always tell a lot of people that come here too is don't be afraid of using epoxies either. If it's below 4 feet, you want something buoyant that's actually going down the line the whole time. When it's bigger, yeah, PU's probably the better selection, but don't be afraid of using something that has a little bit more speed to it.
Great stories in the opening round for the women. Coming up next on Dawn Patrol, we'll dive into the story of the Western Australian, Jack Robinson, as he went jack to jack in the last 2 events on tour. Welcome back to Dawn Patrol here for the Surf City El Salvador Pro, presented by Corona. It is a lay day here on the opening day as we wait for more waves in the waiting period, but diving into all the big stories on the championship tour. One man is on a roll from Western Australia, a man named Jack Robinson, who's gone back-to-back with his wins, first at his hometown at Margaret River, then to G-Land, going backhand, and he is looking like he is having the time of his life on tour. Joe Turpel, Rosie Hodge, Mitchell Salazar. Rosie, quickly from you, how did you react to Jack Robinson getting on a roll in the last two stops of the season?
Yeah, just so impressed, Joey. I mean, looking at his win in Mexico in his rookie season, that really lit the fire, but to go back-to-back, that's insane. I mean, we haven't seen that in a while.
Well, it's also different, too, with his win in Mexico. It was really to requalify. He was so focused, didn't let anybody in. Now it feels like he's just living up to all the expectations that have always been on him, Mitch.
Well, he's living up to his own expectations now, I think. I think everybody before just had a sense of what this kid could do, not what he's going to do. And now he's really living up to that hype. And I think he's exceeded his own expectations so far. But he wants a lot more, too. You know that he wants to be a world champion at the end of this year.
So true. He's taken 20,000 points in the last two stops on tour as we bring up the WSL Final 5 here at stop 7 of the season. He's moved all the way up to number 2 in the world, right behind Felipe Toledo. And Felipe, he lost to Jack Robinson going backhand at G-Land. Felipe was scratching his head on what happened there. Jack had back-to-back buzzer beaters. Really cool to see that. Canoa's in 4th. Ethan Ewing drops to 5th after that last stop. And John Florence, unfortunately, out for this event with his knee injury. But focusing on Groningen, Jack Robinson was always going to be the favorite if it was pumping, and even in smaller size surf, he was unbelievable to watch.
Well, his road to the final, I mean, we talk about buzzer beater moments. The one against Gabriel Medina, when you watch the tape back, I was like, Gabby had that heat his whole way. And to get that last wave to make it into the final was so impressive in itself.
And just into a countdown again into the final against Toledo. You're just going, what is going on with Jack Robinson? How does he feel this confidence and maybe even creating time for himself? Everything's slowing down for Jack.
That's a good perspective to have, and I think it all comes with the amount of pressure he's taken off of his shoulders from wanting to, really match those expectations that everybody has for himself. He just needs to go out there and surf because based off of what I'm seeing right here in the free surfs, he looks like the favorite to me.
Really impressive with the buzzer sounding as he got to his feet. A couple of big backhand hacks led him dancing over there in East Java, and he looks really calm and comfortable. You can kind of enter his space now. Like before last year, you kind of gave him some room. He'll say hi, but he knows how to switch it on when the heat starts. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's got that inner confidence. I feel like, he mentioned on the stage with you in the closing ceremony, just, the hard work that he's been doing, the training, the meditation, and that self-belief. And that's all coming to the forefront for him.
And you look at this streak that he's on. Mitch, do you see it continuing? Is he the favorite to win here at Punta Roca?
He's one of them for sure. I think this kid has everything to be a world champion at the end of this year. The only thing is, though, you do want to solidify your spot within the top 3. You're surfing less heats at the Rip Curl WSL Finals, and against the world's best, you need to have great conditioning, too.
Let's focus on the heat draw for Jack Robinson. He's probably going to have some heats with people maybe for the first time when you think about Barbadian surfer Josh Burke getting the call up with Kelly's absence. Also, Sammy Pupo, who took out Kelly at G-Land. Jack in heat number 3 is the number 2 seed. But focusing on world number 1, Felipe Toledo, Mitch's pick as a favorite to win this event. He does have the Pink Panther, Brian Pettis, and Nat Young. Will Felipe be questioned in that first heat with the local knowledge of Brian Pettis, Rosie?
Yeah, that's such a great question. You could think about the former Felipe, but traveling all the way from G-Land, he's had a lot to do to get here. Brian, I think he's definitely going to surprise the competitive field. In my book, he's one of the favorites in this event, even as a wild card.
Really special there. Italo Ferreira, also a favorite in my mind. He's got a running right at home in Bahia Formosa, and his free surfs have been incredibly entertaining the last couple days.
Don't count out the goofies for sure. This is a bully wave. It resembles Jeffrey's Bay a lot, but it also resembles Karamas, where we've seen a lot of goofy footers do well, too.
Is there a favorite tide that you like out here at Punta Roca, Mitch?
Mid to low when it's smaller. You want kind of a mid to high tide when it's bigger, for sure.
And does the wave completely change, or does it connect more in a lower tide?
It varies, for sure. I think it's a lot runnier when it's smaller and on a low tide. When it's big, though, you want that high tide just so it can really hug those rocks, and it's a world-class wave when it's like that.
Mitch, Rosie, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day, you guys. We'll be back here tomorrow morning for the call. For now, set your fantasy teams, and we'll see you in the morning.